education. We are TNM News.
I'm Todd Dankin with the National Marijuana News, and thank Todd, it's Friday. You're welcome. So let's talk about what's been happening in marijuana news around the world this week. So with the passage of the Cannabis Act in Canada, the general belief is that adult use cannabis will become available in October, and the Canadian police are getting ready. That's right, Public Safety Canada put $81 million into a fund in 2017 so that police could determine whether a driver is high while behind the wheel. So after they've done extensive research, this is what the police have come up with. Okay, what do you hear this? They plan on giving suspected drivers a breathalyzer first to determine whether or not any alcohol intoxication exists. And then if the driver passes the breathalyzer test, they will have to go through a field sobriety test. That means drivers will be required to walk a straight line and turn around on it. They'll also have to stand on one foot and undergo an eye exam. Does that sound like it's worth $81 million in research? I don't think so. It doesn't really sound sophisticated enough to eliminate any false positive arrests. It's definitively determining whether someone is under the psychoactive effect. No, it's not. And this has actually stumped scientists, but they'll continue to try and discover a technology that's cost and effective and accurate as determining whether, just like a breathalyzer does today with alcohol, something needs to be determined, or something needs to be invented, should I say, to determine if someone is high, but that already does not exist. Imagine getting pulled over, and maybe the test should be how many slices of pizza the person can eat to determine how high they might be. I don't know, just a suggestion. Somebody call Canada, let them know. Well, in New York, Governor Andrew Cuomo has been against the legalization of cannabis his entire career, and he often refers to marijuana as a gateway drug. At the beginning of the year, he ordered the New York Health Department to conduct a study on the viability of legalizing recreational marijuana in the state of New York. Well, the report came back this week and for all intents and purposes stated that legalizing cannabis in New York would be a good idea. Here are a couple of the lines that are directly from the report, and I quote, "No insurmountable obstacles to regulation of marijuana were raised." And also, quote, "The creation of a regulated marijuana program would enable New York State to better control licensing, ensure quality control and consumer protection, and set age and quantity restrictions." The report suggested that New York could expect to make upwards of $677 million in the first year of recreational cannabis sales. Now, part of the reason our Governor Cuomo is possibly opening up to marijuana legalization is that Sex and the City actress, remember her, Cynthia Nixon? She's campaigning against him, and recreational marijuana is a big part of her agenda. Interesting, Governor Cuomo, that you only want to pass some marijuana laws because your opponent wants to do it. Well, the good news is that now they both want legalization of marijuana in New York. Well, a third Canadian cannabis company has gone public on a major U.S. stock exchange. On Thursday, Tilray Inc., a very large medical marijuana company with exporting contracts in 10 different countries, did an IPO on the NASDAQ. They joined Canopy Growth Corporation and Kronos Group as the first three cannabis companies to be publicly traded on a major U.S. exchange. The stock did very well too, selling over 7 million shares at $17. Somebody do the math on that really quick. We'll figure out how much money they raised, right? And they were only expecting it to go to $16, and it closed at $22.39 per share. Now, that is over a 31% jump, which is a pretty good start. If you want to find out more about Tilray, well, please check out the finance section at tnmnews.com and look for the article, Tilray, the first cannabis company listed on NASDAQ as an IPO. You can get all of your information and stories like that at TNM News, so make sure you check that out. And finally, a medical marijuana patient in Arizona, Rodney Jones, was arrested in 2013 for possessing hash. The arrest led to a long trial, and what an appeals court recently ruled was that cannabis extracts and hashish are not protected by the Arizona Medical Marijuana Act. The decision has cannabis businesses up in arms since they all carry lots and lots of extracts. The end result was that Jones has been sentenced to 2.5 years in prison, and states that have legalized medical marijuana have significantly different rules from one another. As an example, Arizona apparently will only allow edibles and flower, where Florida only allows extracts. Arizona lawmakers will have to go back to the drawing board on constructing a bill for medical marijuana. In the meantime, people like Rodney Jones will have to suffer due to legislatures not executing their jobs correctly. There are thousands and thousands and thousands and maybe even millions of people in American prisons right now for small possession of really inconsequential marijuana, and it's all because we have private prisons. So we have to lobby against the private prisons, get our brothers and sisters out of jail who really have these low-level marijuana offenses. Write your congressman and do it today. Well, that's it for now. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And check out my good friend and hot babe, culture correspondent Christine Sclafani's new Instagram page at xteen.tnmnews. That's at xteen.tnmnews. And that's it for this week, everybody. Thanks for joining us here on the National Marijuana News. I'm Todd Dankin. Good night, and have a pleasant tomorrow.